Hello everyone, we are now 5 weeks out, which is scaring the shit out of me. Just quietly, but we are doing what we can. This past week, everything's been really good, so I really can't complain. That last comp prep vlog that me and Sean did together, not so much that it was negative, we gave you a bit more of a reality of some of the struggles that we were going through, but to be honest, I'm actually feeling really, really good this week. I've kicked that cold and flu away, no more gastro, no more obstacles, fingers crossed, so I'm hoping that the next 5 weeks I can just crush it and then really focus on nationals, which is in 7 weeks time. So today, as you can see, I've just done a little bit of a food haul. This is just some basic stuff. I literally went to the shops, I think I spent about 80 bucks, and I pretty much just got some fresh produce, so some chicken and salmon and bits and pieces. So today what I'm gonna do is just kind of show you a couple of recipes in the kitchen. I'm gonna do one sweet and one savory recipe, and then all of the other recipes that I'm doing today in a full prep that basically I do kind of once or twice a week will be on the membership site in full. But we're gonna give you guys a couple of recipes today, a little bit of a summary and a little bit of a chit chat. So Jackson is back filming, so now the video quality will look far better than mine last week. I'm just mixing up, it looks disgusting, but some protein oats. I know that looks really, really boring. So I haven't eaten yet this morning. It's Sunday today, so generally speaking, end of the week, it's Sunday. What am I up to? Sunday morning is a work day, it is check-in day. I have clients now 2 weeks out from competing, so they are far closer to stage than me. I've got 6 competitors doing a show in 2 weeks time, 5 girls and 1 boy, so that's Sean, my partner you would have seen in the last vlog. And I guess I just wanted to kind of start this vlog with a little bit of a chit chat about peak weeks, because I've kind of started doing peaking plans. I like to call them rather than peak weeks because it's more than a week. I really start to get my clients organized from about 12, 14 days out in terms of what they're doing on a day by day. Now, let's talk my bikini athletes, and then I'll briefly touch on Sean being a bodybuilder. Now, for bikini athletes, it's a big question that people talk about. Do you need to peak a bikini athlete? Do you need to, manipulate water, sodium, carbohydrates, dehydrate them, diuretics, all of these things? Do you need to do all that for a bikini competitor? Now, most of that stuff, no, especially the diuretics part, definitely not. But in terms of water and sodium and carbs, yeah, you can manipulate those, so to speak, but it doesn't mean you need to cut them out. So for me, when I do up a peaking plan for a client, it's more focusing on subtle manipulations. How can we get this client to come in their absolute best physique? Now, you can't think you're gonna get miracles in that final 7 days. You're not gonna go from, being 20% body fat to being 5% in a week. It just doesn't happen that way. All you're doing in that peak week is just trying to tweak little things to make sure you're maybe getting rid of a little bit of water that they're holding, any form of inflammation in the gut, that's a big one. So you're making sure that predominantly the foods that you're having in peak week are the same sort of foods you've been having your entire prep. And I think that's a mistake people make. They'll go from having like all of these type of foods, and then all of a sudden in peak week, they're like, I'm just gonna eat fish and broccoli. Now, again, if you're someone with IBS or issues with digestive system, going and eating this much vegetable intake might actually have a negative effect on your digestive system. So guys, the biggest tips, I guess, for peak week, I'll keep it short, I'll keep it simple because it is a massive, massive topic, is make sure, obviously, that if you're working with a coach, you listen to what they say, but also ask questions. I'm really open to my clients asking me why we're doing certain things so that they can learn as well, and I can explain it to them, and then they can understand maybe why it's important. The other big tip is make sure you don't manipulate too many things. So just keep it simple, one thing at a day, day by day, take photos, assess how you're looking, and then make changes if needed. In terms of my peaking plans for clients, even though I've started writing them 14 days out, I'm only sending them to my clients for a couple of days, and then I'm getting them to re-check in, and then I might adjust and go from there. So another big tip is don't plan too far ahead. Don't like map out the whole 14 days and be like, I have to do that, 100% to that, because your physique will change. You don't know how you're gonna respond, you don't know what's gonna happen, you don't know whether you're gonna get sick, or all of these sort of things that can come up. So make sure you just kind of take it day by day. Keep looking at your physique and make sure that you're assessing your photos that you're submitting to your coach or to yourself that look the same. So take them in the same spot, same time of day, same everything, so that you're not getting any differentiation between your pictures there as well. Another big tip for peak week is I would make sure that you're actually monitoring things like sodium. It doesn't mean you need to adjust sodium, but you may want to monitor it. So let's say, for example, you normally have around 2,000, 3,000 milligrams of salt, then you may want to keep that the same, or you may want to reduce that a bit. Now, if you're just throwing in a whole heap of salt, maybe in peak week, or completely cutting it out, which a lot of people do, you might run into problems on comp day. Especially completely cutting out salt, you might end up cramping on stage, you might end up getting dizzy, getting headaches, just generally feeling like crap. If you completely dehydrate yourself from water and salt, you might end up getting to comp day and having a really, really shitty day because you haven't enjoyed it, you've got headaches, you're tired, you're dizzy, you're lethargic, all of these things. And at the end of the day, you want comp day to be fun. You want it to be a day that you get to experience it with all the people that have supported you, your friends, your family that have come and watched and spent, you know, 70, 100 bucks on a ticket to come see you in your G-string up on stage. So I think that health has to come first in peak week. If you're doing crazy stuff that affects your health in a negative light, then you've got to kind of question whether or not you should really be competing if you're having to go that extreme in peak week, and just making sure that you stay safe. For me, if it's a bikini competitor, we don't need to do any crazy shit, guys. Keep it simple. We're gonna manipulate a few things. We'll play around with training a bit. I tend to pull back on the resistance training towards the end, reduce that inflammation. But the biggest one is gut health, getting sleep, getting in water, not doing crazy cuts, and assessment, constant assessment. Now for someone like Sean, who's a bodybuilder, we're gonna carb him the fuck up, okay? Simply put, we are just gonna throw carbs at him. But again, we're gonna do that in a scientific fashion. We're gonna do that structured, and I'm gonna assess how he responds to those higher carb intakes. For some of my fitness or leaner bikini girls, I will carb them up at a much smaller amount if they need it. If a client's not quite lean enough, there's probably no point throwing in carbs. We just kind of keep dieting into the show. But definitely for your leaner athletes, you want to carb them up. You want to start to have them feeling full. Now, the important thing, and this is where a lot of people make a mistake, if you're going to throw in carbs, you need water and you need salt. If you pull out water and salt, you will end up looking flat, even if you have carbs. And a lot of people will say, I hear this from bodybuilders all the time, they'll go, oh, I had so many carbs in my carb up, and I look better the next day. I went and did a photo shoot the next day, and I woke up and I looked vascular and shredded and this and that and full. It's not so much like that you fucked up your peak week or you fucked up your carb up. It's that you probably didn't have enough salt and water. And then what do you tend to do after a show? You go eat a pizza, you go get a burger, all of these really salty foods. You guzzle down some water, and then you wake up and you're shredded and vascular. So guys, often it's not the carbs, often it's not that's been stuffed up. It's maybe that you've gone a little bit too strict with the water and salt. Because at the end of the day, carbohydrates need to move around your body and fill out with water and salt. They help to actually do that process. So without it, you're gonna struggle. You may end up just looking quite bloated. So they are kind of some tips for that. Again, bodybuilders are a little bit different to prepping a bikini athlete in a peak week, very different actually. But again, it just comes back to how lean someone is and how they respond to carbs. Some people respond to carbs really well, some people respond to fats very well. I've fat loaded clients before, carb loaded them, front load, back load. There's all of these different things you can do with a peak week. But that is kind of a brief little summary there. And we're gonna get in, once I eat some food, I'm gonna just have some, it's pretty much just protein powder, some oats. I'm gonna chuck in some walnuts and some blueberries as well, and a little bit of yogurt. So that is just kind of a little bit of brekkie before I film, because when I'm filming I always forget to eat. Sunday is rest day from training, so I went and just did 30 minutes of cardio this morning. That's it for the day, which I'm very happy about. It's been a big training week. And yeah, generally Sunday I only really eat 4 meals, so I have a bit of a late brekkie, and then I'll have probably another meal in a couple of hours, afternoon, and then I actually have a higher carb meal tonight, so I'm gonna go out and eat out with one of my friends. So that is pretty much it. I'm gonna get into this little bit of meal prep, and yeah, enjoy the recipes. Hello everyone, and we are in the kitchen today. I'm gonna show you basically some basic meal prep. I think meal prep is one of the things I get asked about the most, and it's almost like you guys out there maybe think there's some kind of secret to it, there's some kind of secret recipes we've got. Not really, but I do wanna show you how you can kind of add a bit more flavor to your meals and not be scared of adding herbs, spices, flavorings, sauces, all of these sort of things. It's just making the right choices with it that aren't gonna add a lot of calories. Because at the end of the day, you wanna eat foods that are gonna fill you up. And if you're wasting your calories on a sauce or a liquid or something like that, you're not gonna feel that full. So, I just got home from the shops and I've got a few basic things here. So what I'm gonna show you is kind of the basic things that I cook off on the weekend. I'll tend to do kind of 2 cooks a week. One on a Sunday and then one generally on a Wednesday or Thursday whenever I kind of have a rest day from the gym will be my other cooking day. And I think it's really important to make sure that you prioritize this in your week, because a lot of people say, I don't have time to meal prep. If you don't have time to meal prep, but you've got time to go drive through at McDonald's or order food online or go and do all these sort of things, or, you know, buy food when you're out. If you've got time to go do those things, you've probably got half an hour you can spare just to throw some food together. It's gonna save you time down the line. I see meal prep as a time saver, not a time waster, because you can cook off maybe in an hour or even 45 minutes, maybe 10, 15 dishes that you can use for the rest of your week. That's gonna save you time, that's gonna save you money, that's gonna save you stress, because you don't have to think about, what am I gonna eat? Is that a good choice? You've already got it done. So what I like to do on a Sunday is cook off a few frozen meals so that I can just chuck them in the freezer, a couple fresh in the fridge. And then what I'll tend to do is not cook off my vegetables. Shut the front up.
I'm gonna have a car drive across the screen.
Not cook off my veggies and stuff like that too much, and generally have that a bit more fresh. And you can prep a salad, you know, every couple of days. It takes 5 minutes. It's really not a big effort. But I think the hardest things and the things that take the longest to prep is things like your protein sources. So any produce, or for vegans, that's obviously gonna be different. But generally for people who are meat eaters, that's gonna take the longest to cook. And then also things like sweet potato, potatoes, rice, pasta, that sort of thing can be cooked in bulk. So when it comes to meal prep, guys, I think that you want to think about food as protein, carbs, and fats when you go to the shopping center. So that is how I kind of map it out. And when I go into the shopping center, you guys would have watched my shopping video before where we're in Coles and I'm picking all my stuff out. But generally speaking, I'll go and pick out at least 3 or 4 sources of protein, 3 or 4 sources of carbs, and a couple of sources of fat. So we've got a couple of sources of protein today. We've got some turkey mince. It's not an ultra low fat one. There is a little bit of fat in this one, but again, a little bit of fat in your diet's good, and that will be my fat source for that meal. Kills 2 birds with 1 stone. Same with some fresh salmon. Again, protein and fats. I've got some eggs here, so eggs and also egg whites. I'll tend to have a combination of those in my diet. Some chicken breast is probably the protein that I use the most. It's cheap, it's easy, and it's ultra low fat, so you can add lots of stuff to that. Another good protein source is cheese, so that's a great one for the vegans or vegetarians. This one's a lactose-free one. Obviously you can get vegan cheeses as well. And then another great protein source is going to be yogurt. So Chobani, again, a vegan option is gonna be a coconut yogurt. Although it's not quite as high in protein, it's still not bad. Per 100 grams, there is 7 grams of protein in that, and Chobani's 10, so it's really pretty good. So they're gonna go and be the main proteins, and then obviously protein powder, that sort of thing I've got in the cupboards at home I can use. So we've got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 protein sources there, and through the course of the week, I like to get a good rotation. That means you're gonna get a really good amino acid profile, really, really good variety in your diet. Now, moving on to carbs, which is probably my favorite thing. So, carbohydrates. Don't be boring with your carbs. I'm not really someone that likes to just eat rice and chicken all day. I don't really enjoy rice, I'll be honest with you, but it is a really good grain to get into your diet. Now, the one thing I normally eat here every single day that's not here is oats. Now, if I don't consume oats, what I'll generally have is Macro Snacks protein muesli. And not only is this a carbohydrate source, but it's also a protein source, and it's very low in fat. So this is your perfect go-to pre-post-workout meal, breakfast, afternoon snack, chocolate cravings, period cravings. That is what I have. I'll pretty much consume that every day. I just find it super easy because I don't have to add stuff to it. And I know it's lazy meal prep, but again, that is one of my go-tos. Now, other carb sources, good old potatoes. White potatoes are probably my favorite because you can do a lot with them. A lot of people get scared of white potato and they're like, doesn't it have more carbohydrates than sweet potato? No, actually, they're about the same, okay? But I like the taste of these better. So it is completely up to you. I still love a sweet potato, but these you can do a little bit more with. They tend to also stay in the fridge a little bit longer, and I'll tend to bake those off, so that's what we're gonna do today. We've got some sweet potatoes, and then we've also got some pumpkin, and then I've got some more fun carbs. So obviously this is all kind of clean food, but we're flexible dieters here, so I wanna show you guys that it's also important to have some go-to kind of treats or carbs that you wouldn't have all the time, but to have them in your pantry so that you've got some options there. So one of the ones when I get really bad cravings or I just feel like having something a little bit more fun, watching TV, here's some Cobb's popcorn. This one and the sweet and salty one are amazing. And they are super calorie bang for your buck, or as I say, WTC ratio is like 10. WTC, worth the carbs. Yes, it is worth the carbs, okay? So for 20 grams, which is actually a fair bit of popcorn, you're only getting 10 grams of carbs. Now, another WTC is things like corn thins. You can get plain ones. I like the flavored ones. I know they've got a bit of salt in them, but that's okay. We're training, we're expelling our salt from our bodies. And this is puffed whole brown rice. So again, very low carb, very low fat, super easy snack. You can do whatever with them, chuck some cottage cheese on, a bit of peanut butter. I know that's weird, but peanut butter and chicken, it actually tastes nice. Now, these are probably maybe once a day I'll have one of these. So I tend to opt for gluten-free in kind of baked produce where I can. Again, I'm not celiac, but I just tend to opt for it. If I have the option there, why not? Because I do find I get a little bit of a better digestive tract when I do reduce gluten in my diet. Now I've just got some gluten-free custard thins and some little wafers. By no means are these healthy, that is not what I'm saying, but I'm saying that on occasion it's great to have things like this in your pantry if you really feel like it, if you've got some carbs to hit at the end of the day. So one of these cookies has 10 grams of carbs and 75 calories, so it's really not that bad. You get one of these delicious biscuits for 75 calories, you know what, why not? Same with the wafer thins. So it was a good idea just to have some simple things like that in your cupboard, don't be scared of it. And then obviously fat sauces as well. I haven't actually bought any fat sauces here today, but normally I'll have some coconut oil, some fats from the salmon, the eggs, the turkey mince, and then another one I'll generally throw in the day, some olive oil, some avocado. So, and nuts obviously too. But what we're gonna do is I'm gonna quickly show you how I kind of just cook off this stuff, because this stuff takes the longest. So we're just gonna cook off a row of chicken breast. I'm gonna do some prep with the turkey mince also, and then cooking off our veggies. So let's get into it. Okay guys, so for time efficiency, I know a lot of you are saying this takes forever, it takes hours. We're gonna do this prep in under 40 minutes, okay? So stopwatch is started, we're gonna zoom that up for you guys, but that is about how long it takes me to prep food. So what we're gonna do, first up, preheat your oven, number one. Next thing will be make sure you've got some trays ready, you've got some trays lined, however you wanna do it. I've got a couple of trays ready, a couple in the oven. Now, next thing you wanna do, the potatoes and the sweet potatoes are gonna take the longest. So all I'm gonna do, really, really simply, is glad foil those up, chuck them in the oven. I'm gonna cut the sweet potatoes down a bit because that's gonna cook a lot quicker. Potatoes are a nice size, so I don't need to do that. So most important thing is just get those bad boys in the oven, and then you can worry about everything else. Then we're gonna fill it off some chicken, get the turkey mince going, and then get off the zucchini, and the pumpkin takes a little bit shorter than these guys to cook through, probably about 30 minutes. So we'll do those first. Let's get into it. that I'll cook off generally in my meal prep once a week, and it is something that's going to satisfy those sweet cravings. So I will generally buy the Macro Snacks Choc Goji ball mix. There's also a vanilla apricot if you're more of a vanilla person, a bit of a basic vanilla person than chocolate. So what you can do is cook off the whole pack if you want. No, you don't even have to cook, it's a bake. So you can cook this off. Why do I keep saying cook? You can freeze this off, you can fridge this off. It's gonna last for weeks. So basically if you make it all up for the whole family, it's kid friendly. Now I'm just gonna do off 250 grams, which is half of a packet. All you're gonna need is some coconut oil, and I've already pre-weighed that out. So per 50 grams, you're gonna be using 25 grams of coconut oil. So I've got 50 grams of coconut oil there. I've also just got some water, and they are the only 2 ingredients you wanna add. If you wanna add a little bit more sweetness to it, say you've got kids as well, you can always add in a little bit of honey. It just gives it a nice bit of flavor because it is quite a rich chocolate texture. So that is all you need. All you have to first do is just melt off the coconut oil. Now the reason why I love the Macro Snacks mix compared to most other protein ball mixes is it is quite low in fat. Most products on the market will be high in fat, high in carbs. This is low carb, high protein, low fat. And then it's also allergy friendly in terms of no preservatives, no additives. So it is going to be a great one for the whole family. And another thing you can do as well is make a really nice chocolate sauce with a bit of melted cacao and coconut oil as well. So if you want to check that product out, you can go to macrosnacks.com and you can use the code ALICE10 for a handy discount. Alright guys, so we have got our big food prep haul that we did in about 45 minutes. I've also got a couple of smoothies if you want to go check out those recipes. They're within the membership site as well. So now we've done up the chocolate slice, which I'm going to cut off. Here we've got pumpkin, we've got chicken, we've got zucchini pasta, turkey mince, baked potato, baked sweet potato. And this slice is super easy. All you need to do, hopefully it'll be easy now that I say that, grab it out of the tray and then just peel off. Obviously we didn't have to bake it or anything, which is really cool. It's literally just, I whacked it in the freezer for about 20 minutes. Peel off the outside and then chop it down as you wish. You can also make a sauce for it, but as you can see, it looks like a healthy muesli bar, and it's super high protein because it's actually got protein powder in there, and then also really healthy fats and delicious types of carbs, whole grains, not a lot of gluten, no wheat, no flour, none of that in there. I'm gonna chop it open so you can have a look. And it tastes a little bit like Cocoa Pops, look at that. What was that slice that your mum would make for you? And it used to have rice puffs and cocoa and...
It was like a Cocoa Pop slice or something like that.
Well, this is like a healthy version of that.
And it was like made with like butter, like or lard or something. Wasn't it made with fat?
Kofa, yeah.
Oh, yuck. No, my mum never made that, but kids at school would always bring it in.
So that is our chocolate slice, and as you can see, it's super kid friendly, family friendly. So out of all of that, that's pretty much like, you're gonna get at least 5 days out of this, probably a week out of this. You can chop this down, you can freeze it off. So that is our Macro Snacks slice. You can go to macrosnacks.com to check that out. Be sure to use my discount code ALICE10. And yeah, that is kind of a meal prep, day in the life of food, whatever you want to call it. And I'm out. See you guys.